Hi and welcome back. My name is Tom and some of you might know me as Bowl of Salmon on Instagram. Today we are taking a closer look at the new Studio Underdog lineup, so I guess starting in a field just felt relevant. This video isn't sponsored, but I should get it out of the way and say I've been commissioned by Richard to do the photography and videography for the website and press release. So as far as conflict as interest goes, well, I'm probably just biased, but that doesn't hold me back in showing you 4 really solid feeling and good looking new field watches. A couple of years after debuting the chronograph collection, Richard just presented his, as he likes to call it, second album. At first glance, the fieldwatch collection might seem a tad more serious, but to understand the fieldwatch better, let's assume that the British Ministry of Defence tasked Studio Underdog to create their own Dirty Dozen toolwatch. There obviously is going to be a plot twist. While staying true to the core principles of what a fieldwatch should be, the playful twist is going to be found on the dial. Or maybe I need to say above the dial or under the dial. See, these field watches have a sandwich dial and loads of luminescent material. Mounted on top of the base dial is a 1mm sapphire disc that has the minute track, the Arabic numerals and branding printed on it. These two discs are held into place by 2 flathead screws that make both layers sit just 0.2mm above one another. In daylight, this sandwich dial gives a very dynamic effect because the numerals cast a shadow onto the base dial, and the shadows will be moving around depending on where your source of light comes from. The base of these dials features 7 layers of custom-made superluminova pigment, so when the dials loom up, these numerals give you a trippy backlit effect. Let's introduce the 4 players. First, there's the pink lemonade, probably the most underdog of the bunch, with a dial running from pink to yellow in a luminous gradient. An industry first where a new manufacturing method was used to get this effect. Next up we have the Steffany blue, a little nod to another popular blue color that always manages to ride some hype waves. But who is going to be talking about Tiffany after this? Third of the bunch is Full Moon, my personal favorite of the lot. A lovely cream dial that at first glance is less colorful than the previous 2, but one that reveals its personality after you flip the switch. Midnight is actually the inverse of the previous watches, a black based dial with green luminous markers. I wouldn't call it normal because the way the light plays on this dial is kinda cool. This is an extract from Richard, his official press release. Let's have a look at the specifications first. This is a 37mm case with a total height of 12mm including the sapphire crystal. There's a lug-to-lug of 47mm and the watch takes 18mm straps. For the movement, an automatic Sellita SW210-1 was chosen, beating at 28,800 beats per hour or 8 beats per second, giving you a power reserve of 42 hours. Hand winding is possible and you can hack the second hands to accurately set the time. The case is made from 316L steel and has a 2-part construction, so the bezel and the case are one block, and the screw-down case back makes up for the other part. The flanks of the case and the lugs have a satin brush finish. The bezel is polished and sits at a steep chamfer, which I really appreciate because it removes my face from the reflection when I'm looking down on my wrist. The screw-down case back together with the pull-push signed crown gives you another 100 meter of water resistance. That should be enough for any field adventure where you might get soaking wet, like walking a dog in rainy England. Underdog is proudly flying the flag. As it says on the dial, these watches are assembled in Great Britain, and quality control is also done in the UK by Horologium, an independent service where an accuracy inspection is carried out, demagnetization is performed, and the watches are further regulated to 3 positions. To provide the straps, Underdog continued his collaboration with the Strap Tailor, another UK-based supplier. Each watch comes on a specifically paired leather strap and 1 additional single-pass adjustable NATO strap. Reflections on the top sapphire are managed well by the anti-reflective coating, but of course the sapphire disc will play with those reflections a bit when you are out and about. I did my best to get some outdoor shots so you can get a good feeling for the watch. If we turn over the watch, we are greeted with a good looking case back with a jellyfish engraved. I'm always happy to see when a case back gets some love too. The jellyfish is a nod to the translucency of the dial, at least I think it is. Around the edge of the case back we can also find the movement model, the reference number, the water resistance, the brand name and the words "assembled in Britain." So how does it wear? Well, it feels more substantial on the wrist than the diameter would suggest. And that is probably due to the heft of the piece. And I don't mean to say it's a heavy watch, and I typically don't associate weight with quality, but everything about this watch just feels really well made. There's nothing flimsy, and I honestly can't find anything where I feel corners have been cut to keep the price down. The 12mm also gives it enough presence not to disappear on my wrist, but it never feels bulky. Proportions look and feel just right. The choice of 18mm straps is annoying for anyone like me who already has dozens of 20mm straps, but 18mm is definitely the more elegant looking solution. For a tool watch, legibility is key, and these don't disappoint. The dials have a very functional appearance, with clear, bold, black numerals and the hour and second hand running all the way up to that railroad track at the edge of the dial. What I really like about the first three models are the matte dark coated hands. They remind me a bit of my Explorer 2. And the two screws placed at 3 and 9, keeping the sandwich dial in place, give the watches a bit more of a tooly vibe as well. How I feel about these watches is probably irrelevant, as you wouldn't believe me anyway, since I was too much involved in this project. I just hope I gave you some more visual eye candy to look at, but I'm curious to hear what you think about these watches and what your favorite one is. Do share your thoughts in the comments or come find me on Instagram. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and maybe I'll see you at Wind Up in New York.